you're there. You ask me how it feels. It feels like washing my mouth with the ocean salt, swish, swashing against teeth. A swimming pool asleep, pulsing in the middle, pulsing a whirlpool, and somehow it sounds like the saddest song, and everyone's here for it. With seashells for ears to trap the waves if they escape, but that's the only way I know how to breathe. And I keep it between my lips, because if I let it pour, you'll all drown, because if I swallow, you'll leave. It feels like I can suck you all in if I find the right word that curls the tip of my tongue the right way, eat your concurring like it's of air. It feels like my gums are paper. And somehow they still have some unmelting music scribbled on them, and I'll smudge it until it reads a dictionary. Dear, lick every letter, memorize, bottle them up, stuff you on top. The cork you'll have to learn, have to balance through tongue tights. They mark my jaw, dusted with sand, moon, and half-foot steps, for this is no ordinary sail. We shuffle syllables and hearts, but every time you take a sip, can you hear me? Every time you take a sip, it sounds more like silence than a siren. And it feels like I can speak words without singing them, smothered, and the thought has a particular way of tickling my throat, and in each gulp it feels like I can drink the ocean, every fish, every sailor, every you, drain it all like the hottest weather. So, come over for a swim.
This is Blue Screen Poetry. This is a web-based public display of vulnerability of the human experience as a digital journal, trapping emotions, active and passive alike, in time and space. It studies the intimate, probably haunted. A performative experiment in perception of courage and cowardliness, it utilizes the both public and timeless, spaceless nature of the internet as a platform. Can vulnerability as defenselessness be a defense mechanism? Can a defense mechanism be courageous or cowardly? It relies on intimate expression of thought and feeling through multiple forms of language. Poetry as performance and digital text and video. It aspires to be the online equivalent of crying in public or crying in front of a loved one. We, as people, often perceive showing emotional vulnerability, like admitting fear, especially in public, as being weak or susceptible to getting broken or hurt. Or we want to argue that it is actually a voluntary act of strength and bravery. Why would it have to be any of those things when it is only human? What are the limits of a body made virtual in performing vulnerability? What are the limits of language in its many forms, visual, textual, oral, physical, social media, in channeling such intimacy? Is it reserved for private practice? What are the limits of intimacy in public spheres in relation to human connection? And are we playing accordingly? This is the softest part of this cycle body with the resonates. Many times can we go around the world starting with here? This is Blue Screen of Poetry. This is a web-based public display of vulnerability of the human experience as a digital journal, trapping emotions passive and active alike in time and space. It studies the intimate, probably haunted.